Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Nick. I'm the developer of Frisbros, and yeah, I just wanted to stream it to show everyone what I've been working on. I'm probably going to be doing a full playthrough of the game right now, so, if you guys don't want any spoilers, want to go into a blind, I recommend just, checking it out for yourself. But if you want to see a couple of, the first few levels or whatever, this is the best way to do it. Yeah, I'm going to allow other people to stream the game after launch. I just wanted to be the first to kind of come out, go through it. To be totally honest, it's not a really long game, but I think the quality should be in the levels. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit more replayable than your average, course game or like this game, because there's things like leaderboards and stuff. It's already being populated, so if you guys didn't know, that the game has been out and completely free on itch.io since maybe January. And I did this because I wanted to get more beta testers and stuff for the game, but now I'm just trying to get it released. So after the release date kicks off on March 18th, it's going to be the same price as it is on Steam, minus the 1 week discount of 15% off. So yeah, let's go through the game and I'll show you what's up. So the game can be played single player or multiplayer. I highly recommend you play it in multiplayer for pretty much every instance, unless you're really dedicated to playing single player. It is a local co-op game, but you can play it on Parsec for networking, and there's other ways to play it as well. So let's just jump into single player, because I feel like this is the best way to show the game quickly, and it's fun. But if you've ever played Binding of Isaac and you've played as the two characters at once, that's kind of how this works. So it might be a little rough. Let's see. So when you start the game, you can pick two characters. This is a fresh start, so most of them are locked. And of course, there's a secret one all the way at the end. But for this run, let's just start with the main character, and I'll do two copies of him, just because I like it, so that when I begin playing, it's, they're both at the same speed and they have the same throw power. You can also choose your discs and customize how you want to play. The only one unlocked at the beginning is Old Faithful, so I'm just going to stick to that for both. And each character can unlock and use discs on their own, so one player is not bound to the discs that the other person chooses. By the way, this game works with controller, but you could also use keyboard and mouse. Honestly, it supports pretty much any form of gamepad. And yeah, so this is a clean start, but just for testing, I popped open to level 2, but let's start at the very beginning. Here we go. So, the first thing you want to do when you start is always pick up the disc. Once you do that, you can tell the time starts on the game. The drops and strokes are set to 0, and they don't increment until you go up. So, hello Frisbros. Pick up the disc and pass it back and forth to reach the goal. Look at the top right of your screen to find the goal. A Frisbro holding the disc cannot move until they throw it. Don't drop the disc. Each drop counts against your score. You move with the left controller. The left thumbstick. You aim with the right. You throw with RB. When you start throwing, it'll raise a charge bar for you, and you can cancel that throw by holding LB. Another gotcha. You can move both bros at once or maneuver them individually. A Frisbro who you don't control can still throw the disc. If a Frisbro is holding the disc, they can't move. So this only applies to single player, but if you press LT or left trigger, you control only the red one, and if you press RT, you control only the blue one. One thing to note, you can still throw and aim perfectly well when you're controlling the other character, so this only applies to movement. This way you can kind of get granular shots, and you can kind of stop one of them where you want, and then be able to aim and be sure that you're only going to be using one, and don't tail off. You'll see why it matters later in the game. So yeah, let's take our first shots. Read me. Hold B to restart the level. Press X or Y to celebrate your shots with an emote. Alright, this is the part that this level is named after, 5 pillars. This is actually the first thing I ever developed, just to kind of experiment with the physics of the disc. And yeah, I loved it. I just kind of kept it in because, yeah, first thing ever to be put on the screen. So you made it past this area. Read me. Release your throw at the green part of your charge bar to perform a perfect throw. So you probably already noticed, but in your charge bar, while you're loading it up, there's a green part. And if you hit that, it does a perfect throw. Different characters have different levels of energy. So if you do, let me see if I can do it right now. But if you land a perfect throw, you get a fire trail to signify that you did it, and you get a cool gunshot sound. So just moving up the level, these are short walls. So these are walls that you can throw over, but you can't walk past them. So you don't want to get your disc stuck on those. Now you're getting it. Focus on reducing your drops to 5-star each level and unlock new emotes, or track strokes and time to compete on the leaderboards. Press R to switch between tracking drops, strokes, or time. So I already have it set to tracking all three because that's just the way I prefer to play, but you can kind of set it up. So if you're into just looking for drops, you can do this. Drops are counted when the disc actually just falls on the ground, or you can switch to strokes, which is just how many times you throw it per level, or you can just track time by itself. This is good for like leaderboard stuff. I like doing all three just because, I don't know, I feel like a true Frisbro master has to be able to monitor all of them at once. So yeah, that's the first level. I did pretty well on this one. I don't think it's possible to mess this one up, but some of my playtesters have managed it. I think they were drunk. Yeah, I got 5 stars just because it's calculating drops, and the best I've done is 0. So this isn't my best playthrough yet. For strokes, I got 3rd place on the leaderboards, but time is 21. That was like a save time that I hit before, not this round. Alright, level 2. So you can press X or Y to reassign their emotes. By the way, if you're using a different form of gamepad, it'll change. So like if you're using PS5, the glyphs will update. If you're using keyboard and mouse, check it out. It'll even do it dynamically, I believe. Yep, so if you do it dynamically, and if you switch over to keyboard, it'll just tell you what to do. So yeah. Oh, the emote system is probably one of my favorite additions. It came in pretty late though.
Over here.
So each player can
Nice shot.
save 2 emotes that they can use, and they can be handled independently. So I could say
Yes.
which was the one that I unlocked from the last level. There's a lot of movable objects too. And this is the first actual obstacle. The flag on the ground shows where the disc was last thrown from. This is where it will respawn if you do not pick it up fast enough or, say, drop it into water. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a perfect throw when I really didn't expect to. But yeah, if you drop it into water, the flag shows you where it was last thrown from. It's gonna respawn somewhere around there. This guy is a new character, and honestly one of my favorites, if I can ever land a shot. You'll see some of the characters in the game, they all have like something about them. This dude is my favorite just because of the way his charge bar works. We'll probably use him for the next level. So yeah, when I was developing this game, this was actually the 2nd obstacle course that I built, and I just kept it in because I really liked it. Just like a natural woody path. If you disc off, you know, this is the life. If you need a reminder on how to play, check out the How to Play menu in the Pause Options menu. So when you're running these courses, you'll notice that for the most part, I'm trying to use both characters at once. But there are instances where that's like not necessary, or you might want to just have more control over one than the other. So later in the game, there's stuff like, you know, moving platforms or something where you want to be sure that one of the characters is definitely not going anywhere when you're going to be throwing. So nice, we 5-starred the 2nd level too. This is the reward system, so you get new emotes every single time you beat a level. Gonna claim this one. It's one of my favorites too. Sweet, strokes, I got top of the leaderboards and 3rd place for time though. Alright, let's try out the new character. Select, select. I just like doubling. You don't necessarily have to play as both, but you'll see with this guy, he has a charge bar at the bottom. So if you're doing single player, it's really, really hard to use if one of them is charge bar at the bottom and the other one has charge bar at the top. Oh god, it's gonna take me a while to get used to this. So most of the characters have like a male and female version, and their stats are like a little bit different, even though they're for the most part pretty similar. I think this one has a better female version. Ooh, okay. This dude is also pretty cool. His whole gimmick is that he has a really large charge bar, and it's almost impossible to miss the perfect throw. But if you do, he whiffs it pretty bad. So you really want to be spot on when you're nailing it. Alright, so don't worry if you can't reach your disc. It'll respawn after a few seconds at the cost of a drop. So let's say I tossed it over here and I got it stuck. This took me a long time to build, but basically what I did is I gave it a respawn system where it just goes back to the place where it gets dropped. This is so you don't have to restart the level every time you mess up something like this. And that's the first bumper. Here we're just talking about moving some of the things out of the way. Landing that shot. Targets do a bunch of stuff. So in this case, like just because it's the beginning levels, they're going to do basic things like opening doors. But as you go further on, you might find that they do other things. This is the first puzzle. You start to realize that the buttons will open and close the doors. This is also supposed to show you that some of the triggers can be timed. So, amazingly, I didn't miss that shot, but if I had, it would have respawned the trigger. Or the target. So sweet, this is going pretty well. And also, this is a case where you might want to switch through characters just because you want one planted on the thing at all times. Oh yeah. What'd I get, what'd I get, what'd I get? Out of bounds. Yeah, so another thing that I did that was really fun was we had a recording session because I didn't want to pay for voice actors.
Out of bounds.
Most of these are just some of my friends that came over and kind of decided to fill the role. Oh, that landed actually. Didn't expect that. This is just a reminder on how to move both of them at once, because I've started to notice with a lot of playtesters that they usually forget it by this point, and this level really trips them up. So yeah, you can push a lot of the obstacles into water. That kind of helps a lot in this level in particular, just because it gets stuff out of the way, clutter. And this applies to everything, including these barrels, which are a little bit more, whoops, they're a little bit more aggressive than other things that you've seen before. So this is a case where, again, I want to just use one character. Okay. Yeah, so the barrels explode. When you take damage in this game, it counts as a drop, a stroke, and it adds 3 seconds to your time. So you definitely don't want to take damage if you're going for leaderboards or anything like that. No! We can actually save this. So if you press this button, it starts opening this door. But unlike the last one, this one's actually held. So we probably want to do nice clean throw here. For that. Alright, cool. It respawned in a spot where I can kind of move the character down, no problem. Or alright, I'm just gonna restart the level. I usually don't do this bad, but No, I'm lying. I'm pretty bad at this game. Boom. Boom. So if you're taking it slow, I like to just move all the objects out of the way. But I've seen people, especially people who are trying to go through this fast, that just land everything one after the other. So it's not necessarily a requirement. Another way I found that you could cheese this is if you're this kind of player, you could just kind of drop these things where you need them. Make your way over. Cool. Very good. I'm gonna go for the new character. I like this guy, but I feel like it takes a little time to get used to how early the charge shot comes through. I'm gonna try to sling this. Nice. Nice. So if you ever have the water, if you ever have the disc going into the water, it's sometimes worth it to dive for it if it's close, because if you catch it, you get it to respawn where the character is, because he's going to be holding it. Oh yeah, and you can self-pass in this game. There's no repercussion for doing that. That was actually something that I was wondering if it would be a good idea, but every single time I tried implementing a system that stopped self-catching, I always regretted it. Every time. You'll see why, but there are some later levels where it becomes a requirement, almost. Alright, I'm going to try to do this level a little bit faster. Let's try a new character. I'm going to go with the elf. So like I said, his charge bar is massive, so you can't really mess it up. But if you do, it's a pretty serious whiff. Alright, so this is the first real obstacle that we're getting into. One thing to remember is, like, when you're playing this game, there's no real, like, fail state. I think the only way you can really lose is if you have both characters walk off to the side. So, in a way, it kind of makes the game chiller. There is a hardcore mode, though, where you can enable losing, where even though if you drop the disc, it's fine, but if you take damage of any kind, like from something like this, you would definitely be done, and you'd have to restart that level from the beginning. I've been able to beat maybe 10 of the levels like that, and not necessarily the first 10, but it's really hard. I'm thinking maybe in a later patch I'll add something right in the middle where it's not just hardcore, but like you get maybe 2 or 3 tries before the level ends. Alright, so you might have noticed here the sand changed. So sand slows you down in the game, and quicksand pulls you in. So if you catch it, you still can't move, but your character is going to be dragged towards the pit. So getting out of it can be kind of time consuming, so you kind of want to allot enough time. Oh, that's the first disc you can get in the game. So in this area there's actually wind, that's why the disc is getting around. So we can use that to our advantage to try and catch it. Boom. Nice. I'm not really used to this character, so I think his throw is a bit too strong for my taste personally. Also, what do you think? This is something I always talk to people about, but Some people say that developers are really bad at their own games. Some people believe that they're too good at it and they have no concept of how difficult it is for other people. I don't know, I kind of stand somewhere in the middle. Behold, a teleporter. Step on the zap pads to be carried away. The teleporter will only work if one bro is holding the disc. So yeah, you can step on both of these. If you drop the disc, it won't take you anywhere. But if you give it over to somebody, the teleporter will read that and take you over. So this is the first moving platform in the game. They actually affect disc throw physics, so that's something to look out for. Like, the platform itself is moving, so, you know, if there's wind resistance or anything, it's gonna get caught. So these are just short walls that you kind of have to go through. Not too bad. But that's just the preamble. This was originally the full build right here, where you would just take this one walkway all the way through. But after I figured out how to make quicksand, I had to put it on a platform. So in this one, you'll notice that there's not only quicksand, yeah, it's really hard in single player to not take damage here. Alright, cool. So the general move with this part of the level is to kind of try to stay in the center as much as possible. And if you drop the disc, moving platforms stop wherever they are, just to add a little bit of pressure. So once you get in the groove, it's not too bad. But I am clearly not in the groove. It's also just funny how bad I am at my own game, even though I feel like I've been playing it for easily over 250 hours just on Steam alone. Eight stars, still 5. 8 drops, I mean. Jesus. A lot of these emotes were actually given to me by the Reddit disc golf community and the Reddit Ultimate community. So a lot of them were flexes, but I like this one a lot.
Why are trees?
Alright, so this is the first ice mechanic in the game. It switches over to slidey when you get on it, pretty self-explanatory. The real danger is when you add bumpers. So again, you see I'm kind of like weaving between the two characters to just both get them into place. And you can kind of tech off of these. This is originally a bug, but I kind of like the fact that you have this recovery system, just because you should be kind of rewarded for quick reflexes, I feel. The real danger here, though, is if you fall in, some of the shots like that you've already committed to, like the disc's just going to go flying. It's not too bad normally, but in this area in particular, just because you're sliding off, like, you lose both. There we go. Little bumper ride. And then, of course, after I talk about how hard it is to mess this up, I do it perfectly. Around. Nice. I normally don't do that so well. Oh, nuts. These bumpers are always gonna mess me up. Alright, so yeah, you gotta thread the needle on this one pretty hard. And line it up. Take my time. Readjust, take it slow. And this is why I always felt like you need to be able to self-pass a little bit. No shame in repositioning yourself. Use the bumpers. The ice slows you, the sand slows you down. Alright, so once we get to this area, we're gonna get on the moving platform. Yeah. Alright, so I get the other character on. And from here, we have to fix the teleporter. Teleporter broken. Hit the 2 targets out in the water to repair. So the targets, there's one over there, and if I remember, there's one over there too. So I'm gonna get this guy committing to the throw. This guy catching. That's one. I'm gonna try to throw it over to him once he gets on the platform. Nice. Oh yeah. Let's go. Alright, teleport is working again. But I can't throw it to save my life. This part I couldn't help but putting in. I don't know. Yeah, it's probably unlikely, but if you own a PS5, there's a complimentary game that comes with it, Astrobot. That was actually something I saw in Astrobot, and I was just like, I love this. I had to put it in. Cool, and we 5-starred it. Alright. This is the factory level. So I think this is level 7. So in this level, there's going to be conveyor belts. That's kind of the theme, I guess. There's fast ones and slow ones, and they can move objects, people, whatever. So again, if you want to be more meticulous, you can kind of move these off, but I like threading the needle on this shot. If I can.
Why are trees?
Unlocking this is probably, no, it's definitely optional, but it just really speeds the level up. I always thought it was just kind of like an intro mechanic and people would go past it, but so far without fail, every single playtester has always tried to open those. I guess I kind of trained everyone to hit every target they see, huh? These are single teleporters. These don't require you to use a frisbee, and honestly, you just can't get on them while you have a frisbee. So I use them to set up like long shots before I fall off. There's no pattern here, I don't think. I think I just ended up randomizing when these spawn. So when you're going up this, you don't really know where the next object is going to pop up from. I was thinking of making it a pattern for speedrunning, but at the same time I thought it kind of loses the variability, and it's a small enough part of the level that it doesn't matter. This trigger switches the direction of the conveyor belts, so yeah, if you want to go forward, you're going to have to commit to hitting that button, and you can control a person that's already on it with it. Oh, new character. So this is the female version of the lizard character, and in my opinion, the better version. Sick. I usually don't land that throw either. Alright. So here we're finally going to be combining some of the mechanics. So you have the conveyor belts, which go slow to fast to slow again, and you got to hit the trigger, which is going to be timed. Nuts. I think I'm going to try to go a little bit faster and botch it. Slow is the name of the game. Alright, let's try that again. I'm going to commit to just using this guy for movement. So I can set the conveyor belt to bounce me back. Nice. It's going much better. Cool. Gotta save it. Alright. All employees are required to return their discs at the end of their shifts. Drop on conveyor belts are, of course, redeemed. So yeah, you can toss it onto here to finish out the level. Or you could be like me and mess up the shot and land it in a short wall. That bumper just kind of sets it down. And that conveyor belt eats it. Nice. Yeah, 5 drops is pretty good. This is one of the levels that I really watch a lot. For me, it was that last conveyor belt that goes real slow that always gets me. So it's good to know that I have it sometimes. Cool. This is the arrow level, Azteca, part 1. So the caveat with these arrows is they'll swat your disc out of the way. But let's say you're standing in front of them, you can actually block the arrows with the disc, which comes up later in the level. Also, I don't know why there are carpets here, but I don't know, I think it adds like a nice touch. It's like the Aztecs still had something from our day and age. Oof. Didn't expect it to get shot out of the way. I wonder if I could do this level with 0 drops. I doubt it, but let's see. Yes, wow. Okay, I can't believe I made that. Alright, so here there's a wall of arrows, so you really gotta use the disc deflect. If I can land any shots. Nice. Alright, so I'm blocking for the bro. I'm gonna hold it until the next shot. Self-pass. And just to make sure. Clearly not going for strokes right now. Alright, the teleporter sent me here. I'm gonna use this to deflect, then pass it over as fast as possible. Actually, I think I'm good with just one throw. I'm gonna pass it just to let my character move. Oh no, overcommitted. Alright, well I know for a fact that I can, if I land the perfect throw. Alright. Wow, I can't make the shots to save my life. There we go. One more self-pass. And let's move up. Alright, 1 drop. I want to do it in 1 drop. Okay, this is the first puzzle I guess I've added to the game. You basically have to block them in order to keep yourself from flying off the button. And that opens the door if you hold on to it for long enough. This one has a little arrow to kind of suggest which way the arrows are going to be shooting from first. So I like starting with it here just so that I know for a fact it's going to be firing. Originally I didn't add the arrow, but I did have this light to kind of show it, but no one ever really realized that that's what it's signifying. So I had to make it a little bit more obvious. Yep. Alright. This is going pretty well for me, I gotta say. Usually this level's also a struggle. Well, actually not the whole level, but definitely that last area. Alright, so the conveyor belts bring you into the arrows in this part. What this ends up forcing you to do is to pass it back and forth to block for each other, which is going to cost me 3 drops. Dang. There we go. Alright, I think I'm going to risk the run around here instead of just passing it, even though that's the safer option. I'll try to start them as close as possible to each other.
Why are trees?
Why are trees? Block it for the 2 of them. And then this part is a little bit of a mini labyrinth. So in this area, one character is going to be controlling the person on the labyrinth, and the other one is going to be maneuvering him around. So you use these levers to fire off arrows, and you use the arrows, because there's ice, to slide the character through. And if you do it correctly, you can actually save yourself from having to throw the disc more than once towards the end. I'm a big fan of this part. Oh, and you gotta switch it. This was the first area that I built where I had a moment of being like, oh, I have to add something really cool to every level. This is like the finale. So after I started designing this level, I've kind of followed the design paradigm of Mario Kart, where the first thing you do is you always like tease people into the level. You teach them some of the basic mechanics in like a safe space. Obviously for arrows, there's no real safe space, but for other mechanics like wind, you can show it off safely, like I did in the Dunes level. And then you gradually build on the mechanic, making it a little bit more complicated every time, until finally you've exhausted what you could do with one mechanic alone. And you switch over to, I guess, like more emergent gameplay, where you take a prior mechanic that you've already built upon. I'm gonna grab it. You take a prior mechanic that you've built upon and then use that to develop the level. So you combine maybe like arrows and ice, like I did in the last one. Alright, so this is going to be the first wind puzzle where you actually have to use the wind to your advantage. I'm going to control the top guy just to do this. I don't want the other one running off into the water while I throw. Oh. Dang it. Yeah, this is definitely not the character I like the best. Dang it. I'm so bad at my own game. Alright, this is getting pathetic. Alright, so from this spot... from this spot, what you want to do is to get it around, you have to curve it again. Which actually went pretty well. And it's funny because the characters that I usually play, they're not as good as these levels, so sometimes I surprise myself. Cool. Again. Curve it. Nice. So, I'm pretty comfortable with the wind in this level, but I have 2 place testers who just annihilate me every time. They definitely know the patterns better than I do at this point. They've also been trying to speedrun some of the levels, so I don't think I've been able to beat their score. I've been dethroned on a lot of them. This is the S shot. It's pretty forgiving, but I just really like it. It feels very clean when you land it. Alright, so there is the sound effect of something happening. Trigger is probably just going to take us back. Yeah, so one of the fires are lit, so we can definitely get the store open if we do one more puzzle. This area was experimental for a really long time. I only started fixing it up and taking it seriously after I got the bomb logic down. It was really difficult to get them to swing with the wind and not put enough swing resistance into the area that it would like skew where the disc goes. It's a bit of a balancing act. I don't think I could retweak those numbers if I wanted to. So the wind's pretty low right now, it's not too bad, but I could change at a moment's notice. Nice. Then here I'm just adding ice to make it harder. Nuts. The bombs regrow over time, so just because you hit it once doesn't mean you're safe by any means, as you can see. I've also been hit by regrowing bombs before, although it's a rare occasion. Sometimes they just pop out and immediately go right into the direction you happen to be standing. It's all based on where the wind is blowing. Ah! I still think I can 5-star this level. I was pretty generous with the drops here. Made it through. This next part, if you're not familiar with it, is where most of the drops in the level come from, but I feel pretty comfortable that I could do it without dropping the disc too many times. Alright, so as we head up, some torches to show that it's going to be epic. Get up into open water. Cold Wind Bros. This is the Wind Runner. It has the power to command the wind. Stand on the pressure pads to command the wind. The Wind Runner needs a sail to catch the wind. If only you had something you could throw at the end of the rope to act as a sail. So the sail kind of looks like a mast. You can attach your disc to it, and off you go. So when you're using this part, you can use these pressure pads to kind of determine which way it goes. So where you stand is where the direction it's going to apply the force, and you use the disc to kind of propel yourself in that direction. I'm going to switch over to both characters. And you can moor it like that. Remember, the Windrunner can command the wind even without a sail. Hit your disc against the anchor points to detach it from the Windrunner. So that's what we just did. If only I could actually land those shots, though. I'm going to switch over to one character for this. Cheated a little bit here, and I made the hitboxes for the triggers a bit bigger than they should be, just because I noticed a lot of people were threading it and just barely missing, so I wanted to get rid of that feeling. It was not good. Alright, so the disc is attached. Time to go to the next area. Let's get him standing on both. It's also the most soothing part of the game, in my opinion. This is kind of where it just pulls back, and you could do even like a little bit of exploration. I pulled the camera back a bit so you have a general sense of where you are, but if you don't know exactly where you're going, there's a little bit of room to explore. I also added a little test here to catch the disc. Nice. Adds a little bit of intensity to the sailing, I guess. Alright, unmoored. And brought back. I missed it, so I think I'm gonna just loop back around. And you keep going. I'm glad it was a perfect shot. I like seeing the flame trail keep going. It's attached. It's unattached. Oh, I can save it. Yeah, one of the best things about this mechanic is even if it goes flying, you can kind of pick it up sometimes, return it to you. I would say that's the pro move, but honestly, if you're shooting the disc in a weird direction, you're definitely not playing a pro. This is also definitely one of the longest levels that I've made, but I wanted to keep all of the wind functionality in one place. I didn't want to break it up because I was really adamant about making every single level in the game have its own mechanic. So this makes it kind of more unique in my opinion, and I'm willing to sacrifice the fact that it might be a bit longer. Oh yeah, and we got 5 stars, nice. Alright. This was a mechanic that I wanted to incorporate in the game for a really long time. And until I decided to make every single level unique, I couldn't figure out where to place it. But I've always wanted to have a bit of a fight arena where you can destroy enemies with the disc. Because who doesn't want to do that? You can use the other character to kind of lead the enemies on. And you can even thread them into traps. Which I'm just not good enough to do. But the option is there. I'm gonna skip this character. I like her, but I don't think I'm honestly gonna switch over. I'm kind of committed to learning him. These characters are a bit stronger, they take 2 hits, but if you hit them either with the exploding barrel, or if you force them onto this, which they know to avoid, I'm gonna try to knock them into it. The spikes will kill them immediately. That's a free kill. Nice. Yeah. That's definitely a limitation of the character. If you're pressed for time, you're not going to be getting a good shot off with him. Other characters like the lizard would have been the opposite. You could get that disc off immediately and put it where you want to go. And then you gotta add the ice. This is definitely my favorite mechanic, so I tried reusing it as much as possible. It just adds so much to every level. I want to lure them in. See if I can get a shot into the exploding barrel to kill them all off. Come on. Boom. Nice, I saved it. I also, you may have noticed that the disc ends up going faster on killing one of the enemies, so I added force to it when it's a successful kill. This just led to a lot of moments where it made for some interesting plays, where you can really shoot it at one guy and just chain like 3 kills at once because it goes bouncing around. This is like a mini-boss. His whole gimmick is that he can't be killed with just the disc. You have to knock him into the spikes. Nice. Usually takes me a bit longer to land those. He's fun, but there's an issue with the disc where I've noticed that if you shotgun it right into his face, he's gonna go flying. So I kind of kept it to this area alone. Also, I like the knockback feeling of being able to like whittle an enemy down with the disc more. Alright, this is Disc Dug. This level is interesting. It kind of inverts the game that you've been playing so far. So you'll notice that we're shooting down instead of up for the first time, pretty much ever. And you can use the discs to break all these bricks. If you've ever played Dig Dug, that's kind of what it was inspired by, but I added a bit of a twist and meshed in another mechanic too. Welcome, Frisbros. I'm the local merchant. When you collect enough coins, come back to me and I'll upgrade that mangy putter of yours into something truly special. So this guy is kind of like a... He is a merchant, but I want to say he's more of like a power-up station, or whatever you would call it. So yeah, if you'll notice on the top left, we've been collecting coins already. And we're going to be using these to power ourselves up. And like I said, I like this mechanic a lot, but I kind of wanted to isolate it to this one level. So none of the power-ups carry over. But the reason I do that is because, again, I just want each one to feel distinct. And this is the gotcha of the level. The main boss, if you will, is to do like a little brick breaker action. And you gotta get the disc to knock through all of them. And in classic brick breaker fashion, I randomize the bounce off of walls a little bit. So when you're shooting, there's no chance of you getting stuck. The one big fix I had to do was I had to add these little short walls because it's just very unfun to fall into the water when you're trying to catch it. And I realized, like, that's not the point of the level. Alright, let's do... I'm a fan of phantom discs. So yeah, what this powered up does is it creates phantom discs every time you throw, which is pretty useful for getting through the bricks. It doesn't add extra damage or anything like that, not even under the hood, but just having those extra discs really helps getting through. It's also really satisfying when you find like a little tight space like this. You just huck it in. You can really start speeding it up. Another gotcha that I added to this power-up is if you hit these enemies, it actually multiplies the amount of discs out. So you're really incentivized to cut through them instead of ignoring them. You can go this way. If you want the power-ups, you definitely have to get every single coin in the level. And it is definitely not fun to do the last area without all the power-ups, I'll tell you that. Alright, next brick breaker level. So this one definitely has tougher blocks, so I find that the easiest way to do it is to really get to the little flying guys inside, because then you can use the phantom discs to multiply them. If you really land it in there, come on, it just goes crazy, kills everything in once. There we go, now it's starting.
Why are trees?
Why are trees?
Nice shot.
I also added a little bit of internal logic where if your disc is going too slow or too fast, it slows down on hit inside of the brick breaker areas. And the reason I did that is because even though you can't really fall off, and the level is divided into like two characters, one on each side of the brick breaker area, people just love eating this disc. And every time they do that, it would just fly off so fast that you really couldn't catch it on the way back. So now things are really picking up. So now we have the exploding, and the explosions are applied to the phantom discs as well. Also, I like the effect where the coins just kind of get pulled towards you. Unnecessary, but I just like it. and being the dev, I could just do things I like. Dang. Alright, this is where it really starts going off. It's probably the best shot I've ever had in this area, though, I have to admit. That was just very clean. Alright, another 8 coins. Let's get that last power up. And also, if you noticed, the door opened finally.
Nice shot.
So we can start making our way towards the goal. It's the final brick breaker area. See, if you eat it and you only bounce in one area, there's also a lot of sound issues with this, especially when you really start blowing it off. And I was tempted to fix it, but honestly, I kind of like how destructive it sounds. So I chose to leave it in. If you're really able to kill so many blocks at once that they all explode, I feel like you've earned that. That little wall at the bottom was also a last-minute addition. I think it lets you save the disc more often than you should be able to, and that just adds to the immersion of this area. Cool, that's the level. Oh. Gotta throw the target. Wow. The drops for this level have really gone down for me. I don't know if I'm just getting better at it, or if it was the addition of the short walls. So this level has a mechanic that I feel a lot of people didn't know they wanted until they see it, but then after they get it, they almost forget that it's not a given. When you stand on these jump pads, you're able to jump. So again, just talking about design and learning in a safe space, you can see that I'm doing it over sand. And when you jump, you're still able to move even if you have the disc caught. And now it's about to get a little bit harder. And jumping also lets you go over water, so you can go from pad to pad. If you're feeling adventurous, you can try to save the disc. Oops. I think I'm going to try to catch this disc before I go forward. I'm going to move the character up though. The red guy. Nice. I think when I switch over to the next level, I'll switch to the disc. I really like the croc. Also, if anyone is a professional disc dyer, let me know. I would love to have more discs added to the game. And I know there's a whole subreddit for disc dyeing, and some of the stuff that people have made, I would love to have added. So just making my way over. Yeah, once you get used to the jump mechanic, even I've done this, but you start playing the other levels as if you can jump. It's kind of a rude awakening when you don't. Although I did recycle this mechanic in one other area. I'm gonna jump through it. Jumping also speeds things up because you can jump, catch, and still keep going. Also getting better with my perfect throws with this guy finally. Use just this guy, keep him locked so that I can control one at a time. Alright, this is the first challenging part of the area. Well, the area is pretty challenging, but I mean this is the first real use of the mechanic in a way that you haven't seen yet. We're going to be tossing it through this and trying to use the other character to catch it in mid-flight. So it's a bit of a warm-up. Might be tough with this character. because you have to commit to a perfect throw with him. But not so bad. I'm just going to self-adjust here. He actually is perfect for self-adjusting, I realized. Ba-boing. Nice. So yeah, the disc tends to go in a loop here, so I've had a couple play sessions where I haven't been able to catch it to save my life. Just keep falling over and over. But I like the puzzle. I like the challenge. If I could keep building levels, I would definitely try to add more areas where you prioritize catching the disc, because getting some sweet saves are really fun. 5 stars. Challenge you to beat this. I recently wiped the leaderboards in preparation. There were a couple level changes that I made it so that it was almost a requirement, just because it was so easy before, and I either made it harder or easier depending on the level. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to vary it up. I'm going to use... I'm not a fan of the Phantasm, but everyone really likes it. And I found this out the hard way, because the Phantom discs in Disc Dug used to be the same colored tail, and people couldn't discern which one was which. And it happened often enough that I actually had to switch it up. But I'm going to use the Croc and Yellow Thunder. I just like this mangle pattern, I don't know why. This is the frog level. The mechanic here is that these frogs are horrible people. They'll steal your disc and throw it every which way. This was actually recommended to me by one of my friends. He just gave me the idea and I felt like I had to code it up. The Croc's color pattern is pretty good too. Alright, so kind of reminds you of the 2 bridges, huh? The gotcha here, though, is that these frogs are going to try to swipe it. Don't want it exploding on me, so I'm just going to drop that. Making my way uptown. Alright, so the repair sound means that this teleporter is being repaired by these. Oops. I'm actually going to walk over early. So the yellow frogs are different from the green ones because they don't shoot randomly. So they're actually, most of the time, a helper. So if I were to throw it here, it'll always return it to me. So the first moving targets in the water. This makes it a bit more difficult. But landed it. Right, so this jump pad takes me here. And it's another one of the puzzles where we have to throw it and catch in mid-flight. So I'm going to control one character to do this, otherwise my other character would be flying right off the map. Nice. I opened up this boardwalk, now I can make back. Oof. Yeah, I got a little overzealous there. I'm also curious what you guys think when you start playing the game. If you prefer using mouse and keyboard, or if you use controllers for both characters. I personally just like the controller. Like, even with games like Enter the Gungeon, I've just always enjoyed the controller over using mouse and keyboard. Honestly, even with FPSs, which first-person shooters, even though I know that's not that's a controversial opinion, there's something like nicer about it. It just feels like it's designed for the purpose, whereas mouse and keyboard, even though you get that controller like sensitivity issue gone, I don't know, there's just something weird about it for me. I'm definitely going to use this character next. It's one of my favorites. Nice. Didn't expect to make that. So in this area, what you want to do is you need to bounce the disc off of this and into the character. Sometimes these frogs will actually help you out, but more times than not, it's not the case. Wow, that's the first. This is the final throw of the level, and to be honest, where I always mess it up. Unless the frog helps. Come on. Come on. Pick it up. Come on. Fine, fine. Oh. That one's out. I think with this character I could just nail it, even if I'm not doing a perfect throw. That's why, honestly, I really like the Knight. He was the character I originally started developing the game with. So most of the puzzles are actually built around his movement speed and his throw. Okay, this is the minecart level here. Actually, let me switch some characters up. I'm gonna do Double Pumpkin. I love this guy. It's the character I missed. So his whole thing is, he's definitely the slowest character in the game. Kind of waddles, but his power is something else. Like you'll see, he can throw pretty much the entire camera's width apart. And this is the minecart level. So here the gimmick is you have a little minecart. And as long as you pick a direction and accelerate to max speed, it'll just keep going. You can catch the disc on these, if you're good. And the other thing that's cool about it is once you've caught the disc, you can keep minecarting. So you're not limited anymore to being stopped. Oh, and the last gotcha is that you jump from the minecart. These are actually inspired by the minecarts in Enter the Gungeon. Let's see if I can transport it. Yeah. So you can go all the way over and jump off, or what we can do is we can practice jumping out of the minecart and onto the button. One thing about the characters is no matter what their movement speed is, when they're in a minecart, they'll always have the same move speed, or at least the max speed, and same with jumps. So I think it maxes out at roughly the speed that the knight is able to move, and it doesn't deviate by character. Almost had the double. Let me just try using that long shot of his. Perfect. Alright, I'm gonna grab the new character here. This is the female version of the elf. I like the female version a lot better. Her massive charge bar isn't as big, so it's much easier for you. Sorry, her massive charge bar isn't as big, but her normal throw is more forgiving. So you can really get away with much higher powered throws, even if you miss the perfect. And I think she hits that sweet spot. Also, I have different voice actors for the characters. So, whoops, flew out. So yeah, it changes based on the character. So this is going to be the first minecart puzzle. I'm going to line up one person here and then take the teleporter. And we're going to be using him to get around fast. And toss it to these timed buttons. When this guy is just going to pass it back to him. We gotta go fast. Something I'm not very good at. It's funny, you can also tell what came later in development just by how well I can do it. Thread it. Pass it over to him. And hop. I kind of intended speedrunners here to just keep moving and land those shots, but I have yet to be able to pull that off, so we'll see if anyone actually can. Or if it's even worth it, honestly. This spot, if you have a character that can throw pretty hard, it can save you a lot of time just by hucking it like this. And last puzzle for the minecart. Whoops. So yeah, when developing this area, I definitely focused on symmetry for all the minecarts. You'll notice that they're all angled in the same direction. The reason that I did this is because in single player, it's very annoying to have to line them up. But I think I did an okay job. I'll stop this guy first. I let that go. Bounce over here. Bounce over here. Slow and steady, honestly. And I like making the shot from this guy. I also made it so that the bounce always sets it back onto the track. Just because I noticed that a lot of playtesters, when they miss the shot, it would kind of screw over the entire timer. Because they wouldn't be able to recover fast enough, like by picking up the disc and everything after a drop. Nice. I feel like I've been doing pretty well today. I normally don't get such low drops. I haven't paid attention to the score, but let's see. Yeah, I said it. Another thing to note is this game's available on itch as well as Steam. That's where I was giving the game away for free during development. 2,500 people downloaded the game as a free keep it for life claimable copy. Big Knit is the account that I used for itch development, so they should both be going to the same leaderboard regardless of what you're using to play the game. That was almost good. I'm gonna try walking over, save some throws. I actually haven't gone for strokes this entire time, and I think I'm gonna try to be more economical. Economic.
Nice shot.
I also love the music on this level. All the music and the art assets were Creative Commons licensed. The only things I designed myself were the disc, the targets, the frogs, hence why they look like they're bugging out. Everything else was something I found online. I'm responsible mostly for just development, nothing else. Oh, and I created the water. I used a shader to get that effect working, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm gonna self-pass first to get off the platform before I move. You'll notice there's a little bit of a delay here. That's actually because these tiles, these platforms are using the Unity tile system, and they're actually moving through movement-based physics. So when a player stands on it, or a disc, or anything else, they don't just parent the object, the game object to it, and move at the same speed. They actually push the character around. So this is one of those moments where being able to just like move by pushing yourself away from the wall is invaluable. I use it to save a lot of throws in this area. I don't think I'll be able to... Ah, there we go. Don't tell my playtesters this is my cheat to get higher on the leaderboards. Also something I don't normally do all that well.
Nice shot.
It was.
Firmly grasp it.
SpongeBob quote, if anyone remembers. Patrick. The one thing I wish actually I had put in is made these a different color to signify that they're not bumpers, but just like regular walls. I've never seen anyone actually get stuck on these, but I feel like they put the fear of God in people, which is a good enough reason to have them. Gotta open this for your boy. And now we're going to be adding new tiles. So in this area, it's a moving platform, but it's covered in ice. Again, this is the safe place to learn, so maybe not if you're as bad as I am. But yeah, it'll never actually push you off. It moves at the same speed. This is just to get acquainted with the mechanic. The flags can drop in the water, but they'll still respawn near the closest checkpoint. They're not a very reliable way of knowing exactly where it'll respawn, but it just signifies the general area. Alright, here we go. I can do this one better than the quick sampling, I'll be honest. You keep the momentum, because it's sliding, that you acquired when you change directions. See, if I hadn't done that, it would have pushed me right off.
Nice shot.
That actually went really well. It's a bit of a fake out. Let's take a real breather. Reset, since the disc is down. There's no penalty for leaving it where it is other than time, and sometimes I honestly like to take that to my advantage before I lose it many times in a row. And I'm starting to sweat with my own game. Alright, I think I can make it. There we go. This is the last shot. In lieu of the level, obviously it's going to be on a moving platform. 5 stars. never intended harder to work with Firmly Grasp It, but unfortunately they just go together very well.
Nice
I'm not
shot.
going to do it though. So this is the spike level. You've seen spikes before in the game, but mostly they're just used there for gating. This is the first time where you're going to actually see them on a timer, and they're going to kind of try to get in your way. The timing of these spikes as a bit of a primer, you'll notice they'll have these little dots showing that they're coming out, but they're not fully out yet. If I was a faster character, I would have made that, but I'm not going to risk it with this guy. Oop. This lets you know where it's not going to be safe to stand. I took this idea from Curse of the Dead Gods, I believe. It's a game that came out in early access a while ago. I really liked it. It had a similar mechanic for how you put the spikes up. Oh no, I overthrew it. It's coming back to me. And I think it's just like foreshadows really well, especially with the fact that you can't jump in this game in all places. It's good to know, like, you're stuck wherever you get set down. The spikes foreshadowing it make it a lot easier to know that you're gonna either have to move or chuck that disc as fast as possible. I think I can grab it. Nope. Dang, and I threw it from just far enough away. I can make that. I'm gonna go right, left, right. I think I can make both. Don't rush with this character. It's one thing I learned. Oh, the wizard's coming up. Again, the wizard is one of those characters where I like the female version a lot more, personally. His gimmick is that his green perfect throw is at the end of the charge bar. So if you want to land it, you just have to hold it all the way down and it's guaranteed. The caveat though is that it's the slowest charge time out of any thrower. So if you're rushing to get it off, it might cause problems for you. But his throw is stupendously strong. Alright, hit this to change the windmill. And I like to hit this one early, just to get them down. Oof. The big thing about this area is if this character falls, those spikes go back up and the other character is going to fall as well. It was really hard to set the checkpoints here for where they can respawn. The gotcha is if I step off this one to go to that, this guy is going to get killed and shot up to the top. So, let's start by doing this. And then drop him over here. Alright. You can jump over the spikes. That's what I'm going to use to get by. I'm going to get the wizard just because I like him. It's cool. I like pushing these out of the way. Took me a long time to decide to make these movable, just because I thought it adds an extra throw that you have to work around, but it just feels good to move them. I think I can make this. Just barely though. This one is diabolical. It shoots really, really far, so you have to really run. I'm feeling confident on my timing though. Oh no. That was a good respawn point. I'm glad I put those there. I'm gonna go this way for this guy. I also just really like jumping over the spikes. It feels not dangerous, but there's something naturally more exciting, unless you flub a throw. Alright, you can do it. Nice. Cool, and I got an achievement. Complete the team is to get all the unlockable characters, except for one. There's one that you can't unlock just by going through the game itself. And I'd like to keep that one a mystery. There is one more unlockable character in the game. The only reason the Steam achievement popped up is because I've unlocked them earlier, and Steam achievements don't get deleted if you reset a save file. Ooh, okay. This is the vortex level, so unlike a black hole, it doesn't pull your disk into the center, but what it will do is it'll curve it and speed it up. So you can shoot into some pretty interesting places. I actually made the effect just by creating a shader that swirls inward and then just adding a basic particle effect. I think it came out pretty well. So yeah, this is where you learn that the disk is going to keep spinning around and around and get shot out in a random area. So moving up, we're going to start adding a little complexity to the shots. And in this area, you'll notice we are seeing more wind. And to get a nice shot here, you really have to curve it around the vortex. But the gotcha is that you have to do it with enough force. I almost had it. Definitely not like that. I'll take it. Yeah, you have to curve it with enough force that it goes all the way around and then dislodges in the proper place. Sometimes I have better luck if I throw from up here, even though it's not necessary. Dang. There we go. With some characters you actually can throw up against the wind. I think the pumpkin is one of them. I haven't tried. And there's a lot of areas where I've noticed you can actually break the game like that, but it doesn't feel like a break because noticing it and actually using it is still kind of difficult, and I like leaving those things in, kind of like Zelda Breath of the Wild. That was the best throw I've ever had there. But yeah, for this one you have to make like a sine wave kind of line, because you need to get both of those targets in one throw. They start resetting on a timer if you don't. And then this is the throw that I put up on the Steam page, because I just love it so much. I hope I can make it in one shot. But basically, you have to U-turn the disc around the vortex. That was a little bit too much force on the outside. I added the little carpets, and that was too little force on the inside. I added the carpets to better signify where you should be throwing from. There we go. Just so clean. Cool. And these are holes. You can fall through these if you're not paying attention. I decided by this point in the game you should be able to look where you're going. Although I still fall through it all the time. Alright, this sign, if you'll notice, requires a leap of faith. The path of Frisbros requires a leap of faith. You'll notice that there's a hole right before the sign. If you step over it, you'll realize that there's some places where you can walk. The leap of faith is a reference to Indiana Jones. So making your way up here, you can follow the light. Control this one guy for the throw. Until you start getting to these platforms. And I personally really like this area because I think it's a cool inversion of the vortexes that you've seen so far. You have control of it. So now the fact that the discs don't get sucked in is playing against you because it's slowly getting pushed out as you move it. So you're on a bit of a timer. Oops, that was bad. One, two. You'll see it's getting stronger. Wait. Awesome. Cool. Also, not to brag, but I did make the stars myself. Yeah, my artistic skill does not go very far. Alright. So I'm not gonna catch it. And I'm gonna counter drop. Alright. One more time. This one is a little bit harder because it really blocks you off from the top. You have to go down. Another way of possibly solving this is setting this vortex up on the top and then curving it around the puzzle, which I like to do, but I've wasted way too many hours trying to nail it reliably to get a higher score on the leaderboard, and it just never works out. When you need it to. I'm gonna give it a little bit of extra motion in the beginning. It seems like it always stalls out towards the end. There you are. That's it. Golden. It's the last door in space. I don't know why the door should be here, but I thought it would be fun. Your turn. Toss the disc in here, but that's not what this is about. This is about pulling the player in. Boom. White hole. This is the other side. It's also where you can find one of the last discs in the game that you can get. You should be able to get an achievement for this. Unless I missed one. And that's the level. I think that was level 17. Got one more to go. Dump the disc. Alright, last level. I'm gonna change my character for this. Who should I use? I'm a big fan of the female lizard. I like her. I'm gonna use Fabulous. Yeah, her shot is actually way stronger than the guy's. I forgot about that. And the guy's is more forgiving. Yep. Yeah, she hugs. Boss battle. I had to pull the camera back for this fight just because I wanted it to be a little bit more epic. I think the only other 2 times I take away control from the character when it comes to the camera manipulation is... Oop, he can get hit by his own bombs. Yes, and the 2 times I do that is in the brick breaker room. He also has a melee. Wow, this is going really well. This is my character. Lay it up. And the drop after the cutscene doesn't count, so you're good. But yeah, the only other 2 times that I take away camera control with the stretchiness is in the brick breaker rooms, I believe, and also when you're going on the Windrunner. Other than that, it's always focused on you too. Oh, actually there is one more time in the conveyor belts when I yeeted. It just centers on my character. Oh, I can't believe I dodged that. And I can't believe the drop hasn't happened yet. I don't think I'll be able to... Yeah. 2 drops in. Play it safe from now on, though. Alright, you can see the last character. Honestly, she's more of a speedrun character. She's very similar to the Lizard, as her shot comes up fast, but it's way more intense. Probably within the first quarter second. Dang. Let's see if we can get her. I like her. But she's definitely a speedrun character. Wait up. Woo. Gotta jump over the spikes. Best feeling in video games. I was really close to falling off. I was surprised I made that shot. And switch over control to green guy. This yellow frog, he's mean. He just chucks it away no matter what you do. He's not there to help. I really like the power on this one. Forgot. I wonder if she can make it up into the wind, but I'm not going to try that here. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of that shot. Alright, part 2 of the boss. So in this area there's ice, because I'm just a sucker for the ice. I wonder if I can make it. I also added some enemies. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of areas where you have to fight ads while you're killing the boss, but in this area it just felt kind of right. There's enough explosions and self-damage that... that it just feels more worth it. When you go down, you can actually leave the disc and it'll just come with you. Alright. This is a last hurrah. And I love it. It just feels so right to do the bounce. This is, I actually got to post a couple memes onto Reddit because of this area, but you can really make your disco Super Saiyan here. The point is just to open it without getting any extra strokes, but it's also very fun to do. Much cooler if you do a perfect throw, honestly. The fire trail. Looks like Goku. I like to hide next to the brick so that it's not caught. But sometimes it's all you can do. Alright, this is the last use of the minecarts. Pretty much every feature makes a comeback in this stage. Notice. I forgot to hold one down. Let's get them both on minecart. start. Put him here. Thread it. Oof. Ah. Let's go this way. Mess that shot up. I want to do it fast. Got one more shot to go. Just gotta get this last target back here. I think it'll pass. Nope. I was really hopeful that it would. I can beat this one though. This is another mechanic that I really liked, except there is an added complication here. I haven't seen it yet, but there's exploding barrels and rolling explosions, just to fill out the screen and make it a bit more tough. Oop. Oop. Lost a couple throws on that one. Some good throws. I'm gonna wait for this one to pass. I have a bad feeling about it. Nice, and I landed it well. This is one thing I just know. There's no other things to do here, so you can just skip through. And we're back on the final boss. Oh. Nice. When he does the wind up for that attack, you can actually use like the movement speed that he gets from just like winding it to really knock the disc back farther. Ah. Yeah. I also added some of the bats here. The boss can get killed by his own bombs. There's a little killing animation. "90 strokes. I honestly don't know if that's good or not. Woo. Lamest thing ever. But this isn't. This is the biggest target you'll ever get.
Nice shot.
Nice shot indeed. They're 5 stars. I think I 5-starred every level. Maybe it's getting too easy. What the frick, Richard? 82. That was my record. Wow, I made some good time before. But yeah, that's the full game. It's the full game in one sitting. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you liked what you saw, and if you guys want to pick it out, it comes out on March 18th, and there's a 15% discount for the first week, so pick it up fast. You can also pick it up for itch.io if you want to, but that doesn't come with the Steam key, so this is the only way that you'll be able to get Steam achievements from it. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Goodbye.